Well, good afternoon again. How are you there? Sun shining, lovely out there. But as we keep saying, stay in and stay safe. And it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Got a long time to go for the summer to go through yet. Now, anyhow, this one's called Dinner Time. See, a Methodist minister transfers from St. Just over here to Hale because he had heard our little town's nice and friendly. Well, I think he heard also that in the 18th and the 19th century, Hale was in part of the Industrial Revolution with all that was going on with Arbus and the Cornish Copper Company. But that's a little story that I'll tell you, a bit of history. I'll tell you again if you want me to. I shall never forget, said Father, every time a certain preacher was planned to our little chapel, on his way he used to call on Farmer James, where he was always invited to come back to dinner. Usually roast duck or fowl or a large tag of beef, something that would make the preacher's mouth water when he only thought about him. On one particular Sunday he called as usual, but to his dismay there was no fire in the oven. The farmer's wife explained that the oven was gone wrong, but he was welcome to come back after the service and share what they had. With many thanks, the preacher said he would not promise, as perhaps he ought to divide his time between some of the other parishioners of his congregation. A little further on, he entered another farm place. Oh, but what a difference! Here the good lady was tending to a lovely goose in the oven. What a smell! How warm and cosy the kitchen was. Yes, he would be delighted to come back and have dinner when he was asked. He preached a very short sermon and was soon back again. And as he sat down to dinner, he was asked if he liked corned beef. Corned beef? Said the preacher. I thought you had roast goose. No, that was Farmer James's dinner. We just took it down to him. I promised to roast for him as his stove has gone wrong. Now, what I'm going to tell you a little bit here now, this has been sent to me by Paul Phillips. This is called Tanners and Bobs. Bit of dialect in it, but, Back in the days of Tanners and Bobs, when mothers had patients and father had jobs, when football families wore hand-me-down shoes and TV gave only 2 channels to choose. Back in the days of threepenny bits, when schools employed nurses to search for your nits, when snowballs were harmless, ice slides were permitted, and all of our jumpers were warm and hand-knitted. Back in the days of hot ginger beers, when children remained so for more than 6 years, when children respected what older folks said, the pot was a thing you kept under the bed. Back in the days of listening with mother, when neighbours were friendly and talked to each other, when cars were so rare you could play in the street, when doctors made house calls and the police walked the beat. Back in the days of Milligan's goons, when butter was butter and songs all had tunes, it was dumplings for dinner and trifle for tea, and your annual break was a day by the sea. Back in the days of Dixon Dock Green, crackerjack pens and Lion's ice cream, when children could freely wear national glasses and teachers all stood at the front of the classes. Back in the days of rockin' and reelin', when mobiles were things that you hung from the ceiling, when woodwork and pottery got taught in schools and everyone dreamed of a win on the pools. Back in the days when I was a lad, I can't help but smile for the fun that I had. Hopscotch and roller skates, snowballs to lob, back in the days of Tanners and Bob. The author is unknown, but look, thanks very much. Bye now.